Mr. Feldman makes much of the affidavits he's presented. Let me comment generally about the first two. They were submitted in the 2011 hearing of this body, and at least as a result of that, those affidavits were not controlling or sufficiently persuasive to move the requisite majority of this board. The finding of that board was that a landscaping yard was prohibited. The 2011 order makes it clear that that included the snow plowing activity. To suggest that snow plowing activity now is different from the snow plowing activity that was determined to be part of the landscaping process by the building inspector's orders is just not accurate. The snow plowing is snow plowing. It was done then. It was determined that that was not the same business that pre-existed. And snow plowing today of the same sort is also not legal on the site. Mr. Feldman's last affidavit, the current one, makes much of the years 2000 and 2003 in terms of numbers of trucks. There's at least a 6-year gap there. I expect that young blood in an older business may well expand it quickly, but it says nothing about the character of that business in 1996. The affidavits he presents does, but there were counter affidavits in the 2011 hearing. There was direct testimony that contradicted those affidavits, and you've heard direct testimony in this hearing at our prior session that also contradicted the characterization of the use in 1996. I don't care what happened in 1929. I do care what happened in 1945 only because that's what the Roger Trucking website says. That's when it said it started. It's straightforward. They declare that, so be it. What's important here is the 96 case, or the 96 set of instances, and that the board has heard testimony on this time and last time, and the record, the documents I just provided reflect that together with affidavits speaking to that on personal knowledge. So those are disputed. There was clearly a garbage hauling business there. That's also undisputed. We're not disputing that there was a garbage hauling business there. What we're disputing is the size of that business and whether or not the importation of the two new businesses are a change of that use, and we went through that last time. So that's the reality. The notion that Mr. Feldman could describe the current use as less intensive, I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where that comes from. There's no record of intensity. The only intensity records we have right now are the direct testimony and the statistical records that have been supplied to this board. It also suggests that we're trying to put Mr. O'Brien out of business. That's not the intention of the building inspector. Mr. O'Brien has alternative locations in Lee for both of the businesses that were the subject of this order, and those businesses can clearly continue. The last thing I would say is this record, both 2011 and this one, reflects a straightforward decision that this is a difference in kind. We went through that last time. So the intensity argument, etc., may well be part of the impact you heard from neighbors. But what the building inspector determined straightforwardly is that these businesses are different in kind and therefore can't continue on the site. And that's what we would ask the board to uphold tonight. Simply that these are not the business that was there in 96. 96 agreement describes that the Roger Trucking can continue its business. We submit to you that it was a waste hauling business, separately regulated, not a general trucking business, and not a landscaping business. So to be able to argue that we can continue to snow plow and continue to operate a general trucking business is simply inconsistent with the record and inconsistent with the determination made by the building inspector on two separate occasions. One more thing, and I forgot to say this. I'd like to speak just to the gap in enforcement. Town council can offer a better explanation of this. But lawyers say that towns are not stopped from enforcing their laws. So on day one, it can say yes to something, and on day two, it can't be quieted if it says that's not right. So the 7-year period, while hard to explain and is not a perfect record, is certainly not illegal. Is certainly not illegal. And when it comes to major portions of this activity, this owner was on notice that there was use on the site that was different in kind from the waste hauling business that existed in '96. That's clear from the 2011 order. It's clear from the 2017 order. So I'd ask that you would act to uphold this order of the building inspector. Thank you.